Hello there.
I'm Albert.
And I'm Vanessa.
We are late to the party in Swamp Thing.
You are amazing.
Do you guys remember that opening theme for the cartoon back in the 90s where they just took Wild Thing and swapped it out with Swamp Thing? Yeah, I completely forgot about that until I refreshed my memory on the cartoon recently. Yeah, it wasn't that great, but back then it was awesome. I had all the toys. I loved the Return of Swamp Thing, '89 movie. But yeah, Swamp Thing is making a comeback on DC's streaming service.
Yeah, so if you want to watch this Swamp Thing show, you have to have a subscription to the DC universe, DC All Access, I guess.
The DC streaming world.
Yes.
But we are going to watch the official teaser that they released for the Swamp Thing. We heard some weird things about it being shelved and then now it's back, and I don't know, they like countered that with a reveal of Swamp Thing, but either way, here's the teaser now. I like that. Look at that.
Yep. James Wan, eh?
Uh-huh.
It's got that menacing tone to it.
Virginia Madsen.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant.
There he is. Creepy.
Swamp Thing.
Coming May 31st.
Gonna be May
Only
again.
on DC Universe.
So yeah, a lot of quick flashes. It definitely has that creep factor that James Wan has been bringing to everything at Warner Brothers, and I'm sure Warner Brothers loves that he's willing to, you know, take up all these projects and help them get off the ground, whether or not he's directing them or writing them, but he is touching them, and hopefully that'll add more of that, you know, flavor that he brings to his films to the DC universe.
I think that it's great that he's also an executive producer to kind of these things too, because you can kind of, that is like the lining of it being similar to what we're seeing on the big screen as well,
Right.
so it kind of feels like one whole universe, like the DC universe, which is really good. You kind of want to have a little bit of connective tissue to
Right.
it, because it is all under the same umbrella of DC,
Sure.
Warner Brothers, so it's really good that he's also kind of in there too, to kind of get that same feel and tone.
And then he gets to dance on the big stage when it comes to Aquaman, and then he gets to go and put his feelers out for the TV level of shows. Now, Kevin Durant, I think if you say he's going to be in something, I'm interested in it. Because what they did with the Strain and his character, I loved him. He
Yeah.
was one of my favorite parts. Corey Stoll, of course, as well. But he was one of my favorite parts about the Strain. And of course, now he sticks out anytime I see him anywhere. And I love him for it. So it looked like he was like a doctor there with glasses, kind of being a bad guy or trying to help out. They kind of paint Swamp Thing a little bit like a bad guy because it's just scary, all the things happening. But I have a feeling whoever sat up at the morgue, like I have a feeling that's going to be the villain throughout this season. And then Swamp Thing's going to have to go up against that, you know, antagonist.
Right, and as somebody, like, if somebody comes in and doesn't really know a whole lot, you
Right.
can definitely paint that picture of, like, oh, the Swamp Thing must be, like, a villain or something.
Right.
But if you know, he's more so there to kind of protect, essentially,
Yeah.
the area, too. So, yeah, it's interesting how they went with this, because it definitely can feel like, wait, is Swamp Thing evil?
Right.
But if you know, not so much. and everything that's basically happening is because there are other creatures or other things that are kind of coming to life. These are weeds. You know what they are? They're weeds, and Swamp Thing has to go and spray these weeds out.
He's got to get rid of everything evil in the swamp.
Yeah, he's got to get rid of those weeds.
And protect the innocent. And of course, Swamp Thing, like I loved, again, the cartoon when I was younger. I had the toys, and what I loved most about the toys were the villains, especially the one that was all hunched over with the gas mask. I don't remember what his character name was, but that was my favorite villain from Swamp Thing, and I even used them when I was playing with other toys. But yeah, I mean, it was...
Brings his Batman.
Right, and they did have different variations of Swamp Thing, too, that you can buy. You know, the extended reach Swamp Thing and a bunch of different little fun, the glow-in-the-dark Swamp Thing.
Fire! Swamp Thing, guardian of the earth.
They really ran with it back in the 90s, and I ate it up. Like, I didn't really know Swamp Thing ahead of that. And then they had the movie with Adrienne Barbeau, and then, of course, Heather Locklear with the Return of Swamp Thing. I think it was Jeff Fahey was in that one, too. But I enjoyed it.
I'm vegan.
It just never got off the ground in terms of more recent or a reboot. So I'm glad to see that they are coming up with something. I want it to be creepy and scary.
Yeah.
I love them showing, you know, the vines kind of going in front of the camera because I bet that's the villain that's going after them. But I wonder, are we going to get origin, or are we just going to jump right into it? Swamp Thing's out protecting. We're going to get a little bit of what happened to him and why he became Swamp Thing.
I kind of hope that maybe they won't do that.
Sure.
Because I mean, granted, the DC universe that they're putting Swamp Thing on a streaming service for DC Universe, and majority of the people who are watching DC Universe are going to be those that are in the lore, know DC, love DC. That's why they have this streaming service for them. So I think that they might touch on it, but they might just go in swinging.
Or I think they'll dabble that origin kind of flashbacks, or give you a taste of each one throughout each episode.
Spread it out because it's not a movie, so you just spread out his origin within the season instead of just bringing in the forefront first, and then it kind of goes along.
And then they got Jennifer Beals in there, and they got Virginia Madsen. I'm a big fan of Virginia Madsen, Electric Dreams, and Hot to Trot. But yeah, I'm really anxious to see how it all comes together, and I hope it's successful. Like anything that they try and do, I hope it does right. But either way, I will be checking out at least the first episode of Swamp Thing, and I can't wait.
Yes. So thank you so much for watching our reaction to the trailer for Swamp Thing.
What did you guys think? What are you most excited about for Swamp Thing coming out at the end of May? Also, if you remember what that villain was with the toys and the gas mask, let us know down in the comments below, because I can't remember. I guess we could Google it. But either way, you guys, you can kick into our party, fuel the party, keep the party going on our Patreon. We are doing full episode reactions on our Patreon. We've started Cobra Kai, and of course we are well on our way through Game of Thrones. And then at the end of May, we are going to be at Phoenix Fan Fusion, and Jeff Goldblum's going to be there, Paul Rubens. It's going to be a lot of fun, so if you're in the Phoenix area, say hi when we are walking around in that blistering heat. But thank you guys so much, and as always...
Now it's time to say goodbye.
This party is over.
Bye.
The Unmen are back for revenge, and they want Swamp Thing.
Weed killer's poisoning Swamp Thing's home.
Who can save it?
Swamp Thing!